What's your take on the orcs clip? Because you're not watching The Rings of Power, are you?
I watched the first season.
Okay.
And wasn't incredibly impressed.
Okay.
I did very much enjoy the half-foots. And sort of kind of what Margaret's saying here, if they'd just gone ahead and made their own original half-foot story, I would have happily watched many seasons.
Hello, Reformed Mythologist Nate Morgan Locke here with a video taking in all the comments and reactions to previous Reformed Mythologist videos. I'm joined by Eleanor. Hello, Eleanor.
Hi.
We're going to try to go through some of the comments, some of the reactions we've had to these, I think, excellent video essays. And I think I could say that because I think you did most of the work. So
I edited them all.
You
yes.
did. Let's have a look at the first one. It is Why Storytelling is the Front Line. Have you got the comments?
Yeah.
Did you have any favourites?
I quite like Michael Williams' EQ4KT. Popular culture is paganism. When you submit yourself to it, it will disciple you into a deeply personal religion.
You know, that's my favourite one as well. Apart from all the ones that were just nice and polite about how well you made the video. But yeah, popular culture is paganism, the discipling power of popular culture. So the fact that we are shaped by the stories that we're in is absolutely right.
You are what you eat.
And the submission. Oh, it doesn't feel like submission though, does it? When you engage with pop culture, it doesn't feel as though you're submitting yourself to the form. It feels like you're opting in. I suppose we're surrounded by it. And that's why we keep saying, please remember the media consumption is optional, because it feels like you have to watch this thing and have to watch this show. So yeah, that was a very good comment. We also had someone, I did reply to this one, post-Christian era. Some will cheer at the notion. I most certainly shall not. So partly that's what we wanted to do with the video, is to say this is about the way that culture is shifting and the way that stories are used as the kind of front line in this meaning crisis. Then with this Chesterton quote I found, Christianity has died many times and risen again, for it had a God that knew the way out of the grave. I got to shout this one out. There's a guy called @Matthew Orzek. Compelling contest, as always. I think he meant content. But do you know why I'm excited about?
I do know why you're excited.
Why am I excited about his comment?
Because he is an American footballer who has won the Super Bowl.
He has won the Super Bowl. Thank you, Matthew Orzek, for your comment. Also, we had a great comment from Margaret Chaika. 6878. These days, what the producers are doing is like stolen valor. They're taking a known and beloved story or franchise to draw in the fans of the original story, then changing the entire story in order to lecture us on girl power or rainbow people or whatever. If they think their stories are so popular or desired, then they can make an original story with original characters, but they prefer bait and switch. Their stories are... naughty word. So yeah, I mean that's why we put the orcs in the thumbnail. What's your take on the orcs clip? Because you're not watching The Rings of Power, are you?
I watched the first season.
Okay.
And wasn't incredibly impressed.
Okay.
I did very much enjoy the half-foots. And sort of kind of what Margaret's saying here, if they'd just gone ahead and made their own original half-foot story, I would have happily watched many seasons.
Okay.
But the fact that they take the history that Tolkien created and destroy it,
Okay.
I'm not a big fan. And so in the world of Tolkien, there are evil things.
Mm-hmm.
And as Christians, we'd say there are evil things in this world.
Yeah.
And I think the need for everything to be shades of grey is unnecessary.
See, my issue is the films, the original Peter Jackson trilogy.
I mean, yeah, they're terrible.
So I don't, the books are books and they're great. I mean, they were good films, but we didn't need them. And then we didn't need this. I'm not sure it's added much. Although people are watching it, they're choosing to, and more fool them if they are. I want to talk about Cross the Threshold ahead of you. Let's have a talk about the coin toss video. Can you say coin toss?
Coin toss.
Coin toss, not toin toss, as we often called it in post-production for that. Now, the thing about the coin toss video is that it just revealed to me how many coin tosses there have been that have had a big impact on people in film and television.
Everyone was very disappointed that we hadn't included their favourite.
That's right.
I almost said toin toss.
Coin toss. Where
Coin
is
tosses.
Red's coin toss from Twin Peaks? I watched that one, and yeah, that was a good... Shall we show it now? We could show it now.
Yeah.
Here's Red's coin toss in Twin Peaks. And then someone said, at Coal Mine Ted, I can't believe you didn't include the coin toss from the movie Mouse Hunt. SMH, what does that mean?
Shaking my head.
Shaking my head. My favourite coin toss. I did then go and watch that one, and I do love the fact that he has a favourite one. And then, did we get any more? Oh yeah, so we start this video essay with No Country for Old Men, Coen Brothers, amazing film. And I didn't include the one at the end when Carla Jean refuses to call the coin toss. At Christian Bensel, friend of the show, said, thank you, tossing a coin is in some way easier than discussing and taking responsibility for your decisions. Thank you for that comment. Was there another coin flip we thought? In fact, I saw a coin flip in a film that we'll discuss in our next section.
Okay. I don't think I came across any more coin tosses. Oh, it's so hard to say.
All right, let's do our next section. Our next section is called What You Been Watching. We should have a jingle or something for that. So, what you been watching, Eleanor?
Last night, I sat down on my sofa. I made my room all cozy. And then I used my parents' Amazon Prime to buy...
Smart move.
Over the Garden Wall. It's a short cartoon series done by Cartoon Network with Elijah Wood in it.
Oh.
And it's about two little boys who get lost in the unknown.
They go into the unknown.
And it's...
Into the unknown!
Into the
unknown!
Yes, and it's just kind of a spooky, autumny.
Autumny.
Yeah.
We can say that because we're British, whereas the Americans have to say fally. It doesn't work.
That doesn't work.
Autumnal might
Autumnal.
be
That's
the correct word. It was
now
autumnal.
I feel stupid.
Autumnal viewing. So,
Yes.
And you felt cozy?
Yes,
Good.
I felt very cozy. Had some chai.
Which means tea,
Yeah.
I'm told. Chai tea just
No.
means tea.
Yeah, so don't say chai tea, just say chai.
Would you recommend it? Bearing in mind that media consumption is optional, you're under no obligation to watch this Amazon Prime cartoon. Recommend?
I've only watched 2 episodes. I did enjoy them. I'm going to keep watching it.
Anything else?
I've also been reading Aquila.
Sorry?
I think that's how you say it. Aquila?
Aquila. Oh, there's the fantasy book.
Yes. Written by Benjamin George.
Benjamin George, who we're going to interview.
Yes, we are. I've only got about a quarter of the way through it. It's quite a cool world that he's created.
Is it where people go into a world, or are they already in the world when it starts?
They're in the world when it starts, but I think there might be some
threshold crossing.
Definitely.
Very nice.
How about you?
Oh, there you go. But you have to say it. Say the line.
What you watching?
No, what you been watching?
What you been watching?
What you watching? What you watching?
What you watching? What you been watching?
On Saturday, I watched the second of the Sergio Leone Western trilogy. So there's a fistful of dollars, and then for a few dollars more, and then the third one is The Good, The Bad, and The Ugly. So I was watching with my son, and we loved it. Just the soundtrack is so good. Like all the stuff you associate with Westerns, like that whole kind of Western audio soundscape, was created by Ennio Morricone in that set of films.
I don't watch Westerns.
You don't watch Westerns, why not?
So when I was probably about 12 or 13, my dad decided that we were going to watch my first Western.
Big moment in a father's life, must say.
And he made a mistake. Oh. He had a Clint Eastwood box set.
Okay.
And in that box set was The Beguiled, which my dad had never seen before. But he decided that because it was part of the box set, it was a good introduction.
He wanted to introduce you to Western, so he showed you a Western he hadn't himself seen.
Yeah. And The Beguiled isn't really a Western. It's about a Civil War soldier who stumbles across a sort of orphanage or school of girls.
Okay.
And you can imagine that gets weird. And it did get weird. And they saw off his leg and then poisoned him with mushrooms. And it was very scarring for me as a young teen.
So what? Wow.
Yeah.
So has your father learned his lesson when now showing you any other genres of films?
Yes, he has.
He
he's very sad that he put me off Westerns by showing that to me as my first.
So there's a question. If you're a Beguiled fan, would you say it's a proper Western? Because I think, because it's in the Civil War period, obviously, it suits the time period for the classic Western. It's got Clint Eastwood in it, set in America.
Yes, but I think it's a weird one, and it doesn't have sort of the story tropes that a Western would have.
So you don't actually know if you don't like Westerns or
Well,
you don't like that film,
I
which
have
wasn't really a Western.
I have seen Westerns since then because I did do a degree in film and television. And
because we had a conversation about The Searchers,
Yes.
which I rewatched again the other day and love it. And you were like, nah.
Yeah, I had to watch it at university, and it's just a bit of its time, bit racist.
Of course it's of its time. When we do the video on thresholds and Rückenfigure, it is a big one for that, because there is a kind of cinematic trope John Ford uses in The Searchers, which is amazing, which we will talk more about another time. One more thing that I've been watching, and then something I've been playing, new for me. So I watched the 2014 remake of Annie, starring Jamie Foxx. That feels of its time. That was quite funny. But yeah, I watched that with my daughter.
You still haven't seen When in Rome?
I still haven't seen When in Rome, which we featured in the coin toss video.
We did, and you said you would see it, but you
all
haven't.
right, homework for next week. I will watch that. I played a video game.
Wow.
So we just bought the latest Zelda. So the previous Zelda games I've been interested in because they're massive questy type things and they were epic. And Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom are these AAA rated games, like incredibly good. And my son wanted to play them, and I'd sat and watched him play them. But I'd always thought, this looks really complicated and like I'm not going to have any idea how to do it. But then there's a new one called Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, and you play as Zelda, not as Link. And there's this cool thing where when you come across a new object or you kill a new monster or something, you can then make an echo of it, and then you call forth the echo of it to use for your own purposes. So
like
it's a little bit
Pokemon.
like, so I've been playing that and really enjoying that.
I did watch a teaser for Tales of the Shire, which is coming out in 6 months' time.
This is the video game version of what you wanted the Amazon Prime Rings of Power to be.
Yeah, basically.
Which is just a little half-foots doing their thing.
It's during the Third Age, so it's proper hobbits by then, not half-foots. You just get to be a hobbit and you get to garden and cook, and it sounds like a delightful game.
It's low stakes.
It's very low stakes, but I'm very much looking forward to it coming out.
Very good. I should also add, I have been watching lots of sport this weekend. Maybe we'll do a video on how that is a thing. Anyway, talking of low stakes, let's talk about the third video we put out recently, which is called Why Sitcoms Can Change the World. At Lydia Houghton said, fascinating video. God bless you. That's the kind of comment I love. Oh, someone called, I think it's B. Petruzzo. The funny thing here is that you made precisely the same ideological play in 14 minutes that sitcoms make in 6 seasons. In this case, doing something familiar under the guise of a kind of insightful and relatable commentary I'm interested in. Thank you for that. Insightful and relatable commentary we aim to please, only to slip in an unpopular ideological message I firmly disagree with in the last 90 seconds, so kudos on that, because had you told me your ideological position from the start, I wouldn't have finished watching. But also, how did you get so close to the point and yet miss it so spectacularly? Well, I've got kudos. Well, we've got kudos.
We did.
We can take the kudos from this comment, and then we can try to create more insightful and relatable commentary, which may steal past Watchful Dragons. Just watch out. You can't be too careful about what you watch online, especially the Reformed Mythologist videos.
But there's not anything wrong with watching something you don't agree with. Otherwise you end up in an echo chamber.
I mean, maybe that's why B. Petruzzo's upset, because he wanted to be in an echo chamber.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But actually, it's designed to show you stuff you won't like too, so you get angry, because anger makes people click on stuff.
It does.
It's powerful. I had a conversation with a sitcom writer.
You did.
After having made this video, partly because I'd stolen almost everything I said in the video from him. He's called James Carey. Here's a little clip of that interview now.
Wow, this is interesting. I've not really thought about this before. Mm-hmm. The fact that we're trapped in this precinct is a sense in which we are trapped in a world which has paradox, doesn't it? We don't want to suffer, but we can only grow through suffering. We don't want to be vulnerable, but you can only love by being vulnerable. Yeah. We want to control things, but in controlling them, we then make them worse, whatever.
Yeah.
So I think that's what sitcom is so rich in, and it sort of, which is surprising because it's the TV equivalent of a Happy Meal.
So yeah, he knows all the sitcoms.
All of them.
All the sitcoms.
Every single one.
Everyone. In fact, his podcast is called Sitcom Geek. So you'd hope a sitcom geek knew all the sitcoms.
Incredibly insightful. Does it mean that outside the Christian vision, we watch sitcoms as an escape desperate for hope in a world that is otherwise void of it. But within the Christian vision, we watch them, laugh, and think, yeah, that is a little bit like the real story.
I mean, I think people do watch sitcoms as an escape. Just want something mindless. You're like, oh, I don't want to think about stuff, and so I switch it on. A world otherwise void of hope. So what is the default non-Christian position in the West? So there's a big thing at the moment where we're moving from a kind of default atheist position, materialist, there is no meaning, no value, there's just matter and motion. Or are we in a new pagan-y spiritual witch talk? There's a weirdness to the world that we should engage with. My instinct would be that both of those are dark, so they're not actually very hopeful, rather than the hopefulness of the gospel and the kind of comedy of the gospel. Well, thank you very much, Eleanor. It's been great to do this little chat through the reactions and comments that we've had under Reformed Mythologist videos over the last month. Please do remember that media consumption is optional. I'm Reformed Mythologist Nate Morganlock. I'm glad you were here.